Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to talk about the Ultrasonic Blue Mica. Sometimes it's called Flame Blue, Sonic Blue, depending on what market you're in. The paint code is 8X1, so it's Ultrasonic Blue Mica 2.0. And when my wife and I first started looking for these cars in late 2019, early 2020, that is what we were after. We were after the USB plus the red interior. That was kind of the what we really wanted. So come to find out, these cars aren't quite as rare as you would think in this color. And so I have, with my notes here, I'm gonna go over everything as far as the US production and a little bit of the worldwide production. So let's dive right into it. You'll hear me refer to a lot the US 49 state production, and that is US minus Hawaii. That's not North America, which includes Canada, Puerto Rico, Guam, Marshall Islands, things like that. The focus for this is primarily just what's in the US. Hawaii is a different market, kind of grouped in with Guam and Marshall Islands and things like that. Diving right into the US 49 state production, there were 269 cars over the 5 years that these cars were made. And that equates to about 11.5% of the total production as far as colors go. So it's kind of right in the middle as far as rarity goes. You have colors like caviar and ultra white, black and white that were the most common. And then you have colors like the solar flare, flare yellow, and molten pearl that are the rarest. So again, right in the middle. We have 269 that were just for the US 49. The worldwide production, there were 629 out of the 4,800 or so worldwide that were made. That equates for about 11.5% that were made in this color. So before we jump into specifically just the 49 state cars, this is gonna be the North America part. We have 269 for US, 16 in Canada, 3 in Hawaii, only 1 for Puerto Rico, none in Guam or the Marshall Islands. And there's also 15 pre-production cars or unknown that I'm not counting. Those are most likely ones that were scrapped. Almost all of them were most likely pre-production cars. So not counting those in this total. So if we focus now on those US 49 cars, breaking down the production a little bit further as far as interior goes, we had 71 that had Stratus Gray, which that's kind of the light gray or really white interior. We had 122 with black, 62 with red, and there were 14 for 2020 only that had a black and white type of interior, which I'll put a picture of it on your screen here. Let's break that down just a little bit further now. By year, 177 were made for 2016, 67 were gray, 74 were black, and 36 were red. So the black was the most common interior for these, despite people wanting the red, or people like me that wanted the red. There were only 36 of them for 2016. So on to 2017, there were 35 total made in ultrasonic blue, but 4 were Stratus Gray, 17 were black, and 14 were red. So again, not very many, but it gets rarer. 2018, which was the lowest production year for the US 49, 20 were made in ultrasonic blue, with no longer having Stratus Gray offered. Your choices are red or black. So we have 14 that had black interior. Only 6 of those cars for 2018 had a red interior. And then on to 2019, we had 11 total, 9 black, only 2 red. So pretty rare. And of course, 2020, the last year, there were 26 of them. So again, there's more made. 8 black, 4 red, and 14 that had that black and white interior. So the majority of the ones that you're gonna see for 2020 are gonna have a black and white interior. That black and white interior was only offered on the 2020 models, at least here in the US or North America. Other areas like Japan, you could get it, a different version of it on all of the other model years. And if you break that down even a step further, for 2020, there were 186 cars that have been identified for US, North America, 49 states. And of those 186, 43 of them had this black and white interior. So it was a pretty good take rate. But there's, with the largest amount of those being on the ultrasonic blue Mica car. So there's 14 cars that have that interior. I kind of like it. The fact that it's white leather, that's going to be tricky to keep clean, or if you're going to daily drive one of these, something like that. But so my point is that the takeaway here, as far as rarity goes, the rarest one, or the rarest combination of these that you're going to come across is a 2019 with a red interior, of which there are 2 that exist. That's it. There's no one-of-one cars in the ultrasonic blue as far as the US 49 state market is concerned. That brings us to how many of these cars are actually still left. So here we are, almost 10 years from when they first went into production in July of 2015. Here it is, the end of February 2025. So we're not quite 10 years, but we're getting pretty close. The bulk of the 2016 deliveries started happening October, November, December of 2015. So again, we're getting there. So bringing to how many are left? 235 of those 269 are still clean title cars, but some have accidents. So there's 33 that are branded or otherwise have issues. That's flood, fire, stolen. There's 2 that have a lemon law buyback. So they're still, they were bought back and then resold, I guess. So they're a lemon title. They're still on the road, but they're branded now. There are 2 that have never been titled. One, Herb Chambers in the dealership in Massachusetts. It looks like they dealer prepped it, got it ready to sell, put it on sale, and then there's been nothing on that car since then. So either it's in a dealership collection, you know, maybe the dealership owner owns it, just it was never titled, but the car has been prepped but never titled. So it last shows that it had 8 miles on it. So that car may be out there. Nobody's seen or heard about it, so I don't know what the status of that car is right now. And then the other one is that's a 2016. The other one's a 2019, and it's a Lexus driving school car. It was never titled. However, by the time you see this, it may have already been titled with its first owner. So it was sold at auction through, I guess, somewhere in the Southwest. There's a dealership in Dallas that bought it, and it had some issues. It had some paint work. It has the door that had been, the passenger front door has been resprayed. The fender has been resprayed on the same side. The rear bumper's been resprayed. It's got some stories. It had a leaking heater core that has now been repaired. And then it was put on for sale in August of last year for $90,000 with 7,500 miles. So you're talking about 7,500 track miles. Maybe not all of those are track miles, but the large majority of them are. You can dig into that car even further, and it had transmission issues at 1,500 miles. It's had 5 or 6 different brake replacements of all 4 rotors and pads. You know, it's apparent that it was a track car. They even go as far in the service history as saying remove driving event stickers in the history in the comments. So, you know, there's no question that that was a track car, but $90,000 for a car like that that's got some stories, some paint work, some history, I don't know if I would pay that. But that doesn't mean it's not desirable. It just means that, you know, there's things attached to it. We talked about the one that has 8 miles. Well, what's the one that has the highest miles? Well, if you look at the spreadsheet, the GSF spreadsheet, 15 of them have around or over 100,000 miles already, which is great that they're being used. 5 of those have around 150,000 miles. The one with the highest amount of miles was for sale at the end of 2024 in Virginia with about 160,000. It's like 157,000 miles at the time. Very apparent that it's been winter driven. You know, it's rusty. You know, kind of. It's showing that it's been well used, well driven. And so on to the number of owners and accidents. So most of them right now have somewhere between 3 and 4 owners. That's kind of normal for a 10-year-old car. You know, people will keep them for 2 or 3 years, maybe till they're out of warranty, sell it, the next guy drives it, you know, so that's why we're at 3 or 4 owners right now. That's pretty normal. The highest number of owners for any of them is 8. It's a 2016, also in Massachusetts. And there are currently 51 of these 269 cars that are left as one-owner cars as of February 2025. Pretty good amount of them when you think about that. So, and that says a lot about these cars, that you have a lot of one-owner cars because people bought them and they're keeping them and they enjoy them. So that's good to see. So getting down to what's left, how many are out there, clean title, no accidents, no damage reported, no stories, anything like that. So that brings it down to 150 out of the 269 of these ultrasonic blue Mica cars are clean title, no accidents. And that's about 55%, which is in line with the average that I've seen for some of these other colors we've looked at so far. 52 to 55% seems to be about the average for clean title, no accident cars. It's also kind of sad if you think that, you know, not quite half, but nearly half of these cars have either an accident, damage reported, salvage title, whatever. You know, it's getting smaller and smaller by the day. You know, I follow these cars very closely as far as what's happening to them, where they're going, the values, etc. And so that brings us to the values. So does the ultrasonic blue mica, does the color alone add to the value or the desirability of these cars? My opinion is it doesn't, just because there's so many of them compared to, you know, some of the rarer colors. However, it is a color that was in a lot of the brochures, the commercials, and it's something that people kind of equate the F brand to this blue. If you look at the original, the ISF, that blue was kind of like the color that everybody wanted. And so, you know, I think that's the same. It kind of carries on here. You could get the RCF in this color. You can get some of the other models in this blue color, which is really cool. And so that brings me to one final thing, and I'm going to put the results here on your screen. The auction has not yet ended at this time, but there is a 2020 ultrasonic blue with black interior that's on Bring a Trailer right now that has 20,000 miles, full body paint protection film. I think it's a 3 or 4 owner car, but it has no accidents. So it's a clean title, low mileage, no stories type of car, and it's not been winter driven. It looks, I mean, it's flawless. And so it's gonna be a good high watermark as far as where the values are going for these 2020s. Because you've heard me talk about in some of these other videos about the values and the depreciation trend on the 16, 17, 18, 19, 20s. And so what I've discovered is, as of kind of the end of 24, beginning of 2025, that the 2020s are still depreciating and the 2019s are kind of flat, where you get on down to the 16, 17, 18s, they're either flat or just slightly starting to increase in value as far as asking prices go, not sales prices. The ones on Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids that you see, the problem with all of the other ones that have been listed so far, most of them either have some kind of story, or they were winter driven, they have a ton of rock chips, they may have something mechanical that wasn't addressed, it has the peeling carbon fiber trim, or it has an accident or damage otherwise reported. So this one that's on Bring a Trailer, it's gonna be a great example of kind of where these cars are headed. So as of right now, there's about 2 hours left, and the bid is about $67,000 for this car. So, you know, really strong money for that car. And so we'll see where it goes. So I will list it right here on your screen, because I will be editing this here shortly. And there we go. So what do you guys think about the results of the auction? I won't know as I'm telling you this right now. And what is your favorite color GSF? Do you like the ultrasonic blue? It's a color that I think when you see it in person, and you know, it's been perfectly polished in the sun, it's a fantastic color. But so it's my favorite color on a GSF, and you know, you can see how well that worked out. But I'm always kind of a sucker for ultrasonic blue mica with the red interior. That's probably my favorite combination on these cars, despite owning now a molted pearl one. So anyway, that's what I have today for the ultrasonic blue mica. So thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell icon, thumbs up, and we will see you soon.